All right, let's focus on the other stock that's been moving around in the last 1 hour or so after the government has doubled down on the objection to Vedanta's demerger. Ashmit has been listening in to the courtroom action. I tuned in for a little bit of time. Ashmit, it went on for a long time. Tell us, what are the key takeaways? The government's argument, what was accepted, and what was Vedanta's response?
Well, the government placing before the NCLT a whole host of objections that it has in terms of the conduct of Vedanta and certain issues with their respect to compliance. There are 4 key issues which they highlighted. The first is with respect to financial risk post-demerger. Government clarified that their concern primarily has to do with one of the demerged entities, which is Malco. The government clarified that this is a company that is likely to go into liquidation after demerger, that it has a worrisome cash balance position, going on to say that the total government claims is north of 16,000 crore rupees, and while that's secure in the hands of the parent company Vedanta, which itself has assets of over 2,000 crore rupees, Malco only has assets of 29,000 crore rupees. It in fact had a negative net worth as of 30th of March 2024, and all of these are cited as concerns by the government for the NCLT to see whether or not this demerger is a ruse to defeat the government's claims. That's concern number 1. The second concern is with respect to misrepresentation of assets. Here, what the government says is that there were certain hydrocarbon blocks that had been assigned to Vedanta for exploration. Here, what the government's concern essentially is that Vedanta has cited these hydrocarbon assets, these hydrocarbon blocks, which are owned by the government. Vedanta has cited as their own assets, and on the back of that have raised massive loans against them. This is something that the government has raised concerns about, saying that this is not permissible, that Vedanta needed a government nod, that the government nod was never secured, and that this is a case of misrepresentation of their assets, giving a rosy picture. The third is insufficient disclosure. The government pointed out that they are in the midst of an arbitral dispute with Vedanta, that the government has claims of over 5,900 crore rupees, but nowhere in the scheme has that figure been disclosed, and that is something that has also been flagged. And finally, the government also saying that there's a strong case to be made for violation of SEBI's disclosure norms. That is something that the government said the market regulator may want to come in on. So clearly, 4 big concerns being cited, the government doubling down on its objection. Vedanta on its part, however, clarifying its position that as far as disclosures are concerned, they are in compliance with all statutory requirements. As far as approvals are concerned, going on to say that they have a NOC from SEBI, from the exchanges, the creditors, as well as the shareholders are on board, and also saying that as far as government dues are concerned, Vedanta is willing to go a step further, even to the extent of issuing a corporate guarantee to the extent of the dues that are being claimed by the government. So Vedanta putting its own defense forward, the government objecting to this. The next hearing in this case, we understand, will be on October 8th.
Well, that's right, Ashmit. Thanks a lot for that. So for the time being, the stock did react negatively, but there is hope, and that's why the stock has recovered from the low point of the day. Clearly, the commentary of the government is very, very, it's quite harsh, actually, to call it, because I personally went into that call and I did listen in as well. And they point out all these parameters where they have some objection. But also at some part of the hearing, there was that comment that did come in from one of the regulators that they're not against the demerger. And Vedanta has put forth various parameters out there, and they're willing to offer a corporate guarantee as well, a bank guarantee. Yeah. So that's why the stock has not completely collapsed, because if the demerger is off, then, the stock will see a lot of selling. But from the lows, it's seen a bit of a recovery, because all eyes now will be on October 8th. And as we saw a few days ago, on the power asset at least, that case has got cleared, which clears one of the many hurdles. But otherwise, the government's comments, they definitely do mean business on this. So we'll have to see where the breakthrough does come about.
No, absolutely. I mean, hopefully with Vedanta offering that corporate guarantee, offering to take
and they hinted the last time as well, both these 2 comments, whether it's with regard to the government's commentary or whether it's with regard to Vedanta's offer as well, both of them, even in the last hearing, both of them were, so this is the step moving forward for both of them. So we'll have to see whether or not there is some kind of, bridge that can be come to, and then the demerger can find its way. But that's going to be extremely important.
8th of October, that's a big date for Vedanta ahead. Got that. Okay, Ashmit, thank you very much for those details as well. Well, now let's move on and get